Twain. We're presently headed upbound or northbound. You are on the Mississippi River. Try to point out to you some of the different sites along the waterfront. To your left, town is Hill Street. Blocks of Hill Street, you'll find Mark Twain's wooded home, Becky Thatcher's home, that famous fence, and lots of other shops and buildings. Also to the left, we have this building built up off the ground. It's the Hannibal Boat Club, built up high like this, not for the view, but to stay out of the reach of floodwaters. When it was originally built, it sat a lot closer to the ground. We had a flood, it got wet, and it had to be rebuilt. They thought they had built it high enough that it would never flood again. But the flood of 1993 put 2 feet of water inside the building. And that's because the flood of 93, it topped out 21 feet higher than the river is right now. Also to the left, way up on top of the hill, you see the top of that small white lighthouse. If you want a good picture of the lighthouse, hang on a few minutes. As we get upstream, you're going to get a much better view. This is not an official aid to navigation. It is a tribute to Hannibal's most famous citizen, Mark Twain. The original lighthouse was erected in 1935 on the 100th anniversary of Mark Twain's birth. There used to be a lady who lived atop this hill by the name of Holiday. Her husband was a steamboat pilot, so she kept a light burning in the window at night for the steamboats as they plied the river. Her husband was killed in a steamboat accident. When Mark Twain wrote The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, he referred to her as the Widow Douglas. Tell you just a little bit about the boat that you're riding on. Mark Twain was built at the Dubuque Boiler and Boat Works in Dubuque, Iowa. It was christened the Huck Finn and taken south to New Orleans, where it ran as an excursion boat for the Strectus Steamers Company. In 1982, the Mark Twain Riverboat Company purchased the vessel. We're inspected annually by the United States Coast Guard, and we're licensed to carry 350 passengers. Get the cameras ready. Most of you, that's a cell phone. We'll get it unlocked. Look directly to the left, way up on top of the hill. Now you get a much better look at the lighthouse on Carter Hill. Also to the left, got an old concrete structure, and across the railroad tracks is another concrete structure. It's got a lot of spray paint on it. These foundations, along with a handful of family members, and that's all that remains of the Storrs Ice and Coal Company. They used to harvest ice on the river. They would come out of the ice with teams of horses. They would saw out huge blocks of ice. Then it was towed back into these buildings where it was stored in straw and sawdust and preserved for the warmer summer months ahead, at which time it was sold to the railroads, the riverboats, and the very wealthy in town who could afford this luxury. With the invention of modern refrigeration, there was no longer a need for river ice. So many ice houses like this up and down the river went completely out of business. This particular family, now they went into the appliance business, and they sold GE appliances in the Hannibal area until about 1980. On up ahead of us, 2 bridges crossing the river. The first one is the Mark Twain Memorial Highway Bridge. It's a 4-lane structure that connects Interstate 72 in Illinois with Highway 36